Sarah Stevens was interviewing for a job as a developmental aide at a preschool that worked with children with special needs. While touring the facility, Sarah said she began to feel faint and hot. Next thing she knew, she was lying on one of the nap mats being offered a glass of orange juice. Sarah said, incredibly, she was offered the job. When asked why, the hiring manager told her that when she came to and had a little juice in her, that she looked her square in the face and said, "Tell me more about your program." The hiring manager responded that anybody who could keep their act together in such a situation certainly had what it would take to work with children with special needs. Today, I'd like to share some thoughts about the process of interviewing from two perspectives. One, from the person who's seeking the job, and two, from the interview team. The entire interview process can be very difficult and nerve-wracking at best. I learned some valuable tips as a member of the interview team from my place of work that I hope will be beneficial to you and to myself in the future. Some of my tips are organizational and procedural ideas for interviewers. Some are things that the interviewee would have. Some thoughts not only to survive but actually land the job. Let's jump right into the process of job interviews. First, HR creates a post for the job opening. They briefly describe the opening and the qualifications. HR screens applications and resumes and submits the ones that they feel would be good to the interview committee. Two great places to look for job openings are within your own workplace or a business that you would be considering in their opportunities section. Also, LinkedIn. Look for skill sets that match those of your own or things that you're working on and plan to master in the near future. Once the interview appointment is made, it is time to prepare. Research the company. Know their business stats. Know what they do well. Know what their goals are. Know where you fit in. A well-organized interview team will make your preparation worthwhile. A comfortable interview room. Welcoming, friendly committee. Introductions always help so everybody knows who they're talking to. Questions should be designed beforehand so that each candidate will have the same questions. This makes it much more fair. A reasonable amount of time should be provided for each candidate. Practice, practice, practice. Practice answering those expected questions. Tell us about yourself. Why would you like to work here? Things that would be specific to that job. What is your experience? Are there any questions you'd like to ask us? Stay calm and in control. I once heard a lady was saying about when she was going in for a job and she was so nervous, she would do the Superman pose. So before she got to the interview, she would stand in the mirror and do a huh, and that she was Superman and invincible. This was her way of staying calm and in control. Expect the unexpected. Recently, when I was on the interview team and we were looking to hire an assistant principal for our school, HR had received 50 plus applications and resumes. They narrowed the field down to 8. We were to submit 3, our top 3, for a next interview with the principal and the superintendent of schools. All of the staff members were invited earlier to bring forth a list of traits that they felt were important that an assistant principal would have. Some of them were obvious traits, some of them were kind of silly. As the interviews went on, some of our candidates had a little extra time, And as time allowed, we were given the opportunity to ask some of those other questions from the traits. Well, this one candidate caught my attention. Living in North Carolina, I noticed on his resume that he had graduated from Brigham Young University. It was my turn to ask one of those additional questions. And so when I had that opportunity, the one question that stood out to me was, are you afraid of bats? We had had an incident at our school just a month or so before where a bat had gotten into the building, and our school went on lockdown while the assistant principal got the bat out of the building. Well, this young man who had graduated from Brigham Young had had a similar experience. He had gone in as an interim principal at a school, and the first thing that his assignment was to get rid of a bat that was on the second floor of the building. Well, it was a very comical situation. He ended up being one of our top 3 choices. While all of the 8 candidates that we interviewed were more than qualified, 3 candidates stood out. One had researched our school and was very impressed with our arts integration program. We were impressed that she knew. The second one shared experiences that caught our attention, that she would be a good fit at our school. And of course, our Batman was one of our candidates. We were impressed that only 2 of our candidates bid us goodbye and wished us luck. They were very humble and honest in their reactions, and I'm ruining this. It helped us to realize the human side of those candidates. In conclusion, at some point, all of us will have an opportunity to interview for a job. Those steps can make the process a success. Research, practice, be prepared, stay calm. As an interviewer, we should offer words of encouragement, provide fair and comfortable settings for our prospective employees. From the story of Sarah Evans, she made the best of an embarrassing event. Her interviewer was prepared also to make an uncomfortable situation a more positive one. It is my hope that some of these tips might be beneficial for you when given the opportunity to interview.